Hi, good morning. This morning I'm privileged to share something from my own experience, my own life, and how God brought me through some of the things of my life, especially the emotional part. And I'm pretty sure that you will be blessed by it, and that is my motive of, sharing this with you. So let's start with the first thing that how do we face challenges in our lives? Like we all have challenges, which is a very true thing. We cannot deny with the fact. Now, I have learned a lot from Abraham's life. Like when Abraham started his journey from the city of Ur, and God told him to go to the land of Canaan, but he stopped at Haran. And that was some decision which he took out of because he was facing challenges. So, first things first, 3 lessons that we learn from this entire episode in Abraham's life. The first thing is, when we are facing challenges, we need to check our emotional status. Now, let us see. Most of us, when we face challenges, we are either fearful, doubtful, full of anxiousness. We are so full of anxiety. We are so anxious about we do not know what is going to happen. Now, if we see the meaning of anxiety, what does it say? Anxiety says in dictionary is a feeling of worry, nervousness or unease about something which has an uncertain outcome. Now, that is what we do. When we face challenges, that is what comes to our mind, like what is going to happen? What will I do? How will I face challenges? What will be the outcome? And I'm pretty sure that Abraham also must be facing the same thing. Now, when we read in the book of Job about how Job faced his challenges, now about Job, it is written in the book of Job, that is chapter 1 and 5, verse 5. When these celebrations ended, sometimes after several days, Job would purify his children. He would get up early in the morning and offer a burnt offering for each of them. For Job said to himself, perhaps my children have sinned and have cursed God in their hearts. This was Job's regular practice. Okay. Now, when we see in Job chapter 3, verses 24 and 25, it says, I cannot eat for sighing. My groans pour out like water. What I always feared has happened to me. What I dreaded has come true. Now, I want you to pay attention in those 2 words. He feared and he dreaded, even after praying to God so many times, after offering sacrifices in the name of his children, he still feared and dreaded because he was anxious. Now, that is one challenge that we face in our lives, that when we are facing challenges, how anxious we are, how worried we are, we need to give ourselves in the hands of God. As we all know, Philippians 4:6 says, do not worry about anything. We need to pray and thank God for everything that we do. That is the first thing. When you are facing challenges, need to check your emotional status and need to give yourself. You can and I can be making mistakes by praying to God and still being anxious about the same thing, which is of no use. So we have to fully give ourselves in the hands of God. Now, the second thing I would like you to notice is that when we face challenges like Abraham did, we need to be very careful in what are the decisions that we are taking in our lives. Okay, we can make wrong decisions. That is what Abraham did. God did promise him in chapter 12 verses 2 that I will bless you. That is what God said to him. But later, when he was facing challenges, he just forgot that blessing of God in his life. Now, when we look into David's life, where David committed adultery with Bathsheba, and there was a challenge, of course, he was facing, and that he knew that she will become pregnant of his child, and then he called her husband Uriah, and somehow he wanted to put the blame on Uriah. he called Uriah and he said that you need to go and enjoy yourself with your wife. In Samuel, like we see in the book of 2nd Samuel, and in the verses 6, chapter 11, verses 6 to 17. Okay, now I'm not going to read the whole thing out to you, but when we look into this thing of Samuel, now I want you to focus on two verses. One is verse 9, where it is written in the Bible, 2nd Samuel chapter 11 and verse 9. But Uriah didn't go home. He slept that night at the palace entrance with the king's palace guard. Again, in the 13th verse, he says, then David invited him to dinner and got him drunk. But even then, he couldn't get Uriah to go home to his wife. Again, he slept at the palace entrance with the king's palace guard. Now, we all know the end of the story when we read all the verses, that David got Uriah killed. That was a decision he made when he was facing a challenge in his life. Okay, a wrong decision. A man like Uriah, like he came home, he wanted to sleep with his wife, but he was so much full of, for his country, that feeling was there. No, I cannot do that. God will punish me. He didn't even go home. And here, such a man like David gets him killed. Such a sin, the decision out of challenge. He wanted to put the entire blame on Uriah, saying that no, David knew that Bathsheba's child is his child, but he wanted to put the blame on Uriah. So what he did was he was somehow trying to send Uriah home, but Uriah did not go because of his passion and love for his God and country. And here what did he do? Out of anxiety, out of the challenges that David was facing, out of the wrongdoings that he did, he got a man like Uriah killed. So secondly, what we learned is when we are facing challenges, we have to be very careful with the decisions that we are making. You can be in a haste to, take a decision which may not be in favor of anyone, not even yours. You may be in a haste to take a decision where you will say, no, I think this is right, but you have to give everything in the hands of God. And the third thing that we learn is when you face challenge, don't make your game plan. That is what Abraham did. When we see in Genesis chapter 12 and verse 11, we are talking about Abraham, right? Here it says, as he was approaching the border of Egypt, Abram said to his wife, that time he was known as Abram, his wife Sarai, look, you are a very beautiful woman. When the Egyptians see you, they will say, this is his wife. Let's kill him. Then we can have her. So please tell them, you are my sister. Then they will spare my life and treat me well because of their interest in you. Now, when you are facing challenges and you know that you are going to do wrong, there is a game plan already going in your mind as it was going in Abraham's mind. He had a game plan. Okay, now God doesn't go by game plan. He just has plans for our life, and sometimes we just need to trust him, even if though we are walking in a desert, in a lonely place, in our loneliness, in our anxiety, in our challenge, in the midst of everything. We have to trust God. That's the ultimate thing that we need to do when we are facing challenges, because God said, I know the plans I have for you in Jeremiah 29:11. That is what he says. He doesn't make game plans for us. He makes plans for our life to give us unexpected. And so that is what I just want to focus. I want you to focus on this thing, that please, when you are facing challenges, please check on your emotional status. Please don't make any game plans, and please check on your decisions. Give every day. You need to sit sometime and give yourself yourself in God's hands, saying that, Lord, even though I am walking in the midst of desert, I decide to trust you. Every single day, spend your time in prayer. Every time, every moment, there is a silent prayer going on within you. Lord, okay, you guide me. I do not know what to do. You know my future. You know what I should be doing. Give yourself in the midst of challenges. Like I have learned to do that. I mean, I am facing challenges even now, but I know that God is with me. So I hope that God will bless you with these words and you will be blessed. That is my motive, to share, to come this way, to share my life, what I'm going through and what I am practicing in my everyday life. And I hope this is a blessing to you. God bless you. Thank you so much for being with me.